Hello and welcome to the show. I am Joe Tophat. Superheroes are everywhere these days, whether it's in movies, TV shows, cartoons, video games, or comic books. You just can't get away from them. And I'm okay with that, since I've loved superheroes ever since I was a little kid. I've been meaning to do more videos about them, and as a way of starting it off, I decided to count down my top 10 favorite superheroes. Let's begin. Number 10. Aquaman, the Brave and the Bold version. Aquaman is the Jar Jar Binks of superheroes. Fans often dismiss him as a useless character who dresses weird. A strange attitude to have, considering Aquaman can control the creatures of the sea. The Earth is 70% water, and Submariner runs around in a Speedo, yet no one makes fun of him. There have been many attempts to try to make Aquaman cool, mostly by having him behave like Submariner. Yet Batman the Brave and the Bold possibly gave the best version of the character. A lot of superheroes, Batman being the famous example, are given tragic backstories as a motive for becoming a superhero. This Aquaman is a superhero because he loves it. When he's not fighting bad guys, he's telling stories about his adventures to anyone who will listen, even if they don't want to. It would have been easy for the writers to make him a complete joke, but they actually made him a competent hero. It's just that he can be kind of dense sometimes. If you want to get an idea of what I'm talking about, check out the episode Aquaman's Outrageous Adventure. I'm sure you'd love it. Number 9. Mysterion. I'm going to reveal some spoilers here, so if you haven't seen South Park's Coon Trilogy episodes yet, skip the video ahead to the time you see it on the screen. You have been warned. You'd think that South Park would have had Mysterion be some goofy character, yet other than wearing his underwear outside his pants, Mysterion is taken very seriously. He cares deeply about the town's safety. He takes his job seriously while the other boys see it as a game. And he finds Cartman's antics as the Coon annoying. What's even more shocking is who Mysterion turns out to be. Kenny McCormick. That's right, the character who is always dying and making perverted statements in a muffled voice was made into South Park's version of The Dark Knight. They even explain why Kenny can die and come back to life. Basically, his parents attended a Cult of Cthulhu meeting for free beer. My favorite Mysterion moments were actually in the Poor Kid episode. Kenny and his siblings were placed in a foster home, and his sister Karen is having a hard time adjusting. He visits her at night just to tell her she'll be okay and that he'll watch over her. At school, he beats up a bully who was trying to pick on her. Not only is Kenny a great superhero, but an awesome big brother as well. Number 8. The Flash. There are plenty of characters out there who can run real fast, Sonic the Hedgehog being a good example. But what separates the Flash from these other characters is how many different ways he uses his speed. He can vibrate his molecules so fast he can pass through walls, spin his arms so fast he creates tornadoes. Heck, the original Flash, Jay Garrick, was able to make himself invisible by spinning like the Tasmanian Devil. Though technically he's doing this, based on the dialogue, but the illustration doesn't show that. I also enjoy how they explore the downside to having super speed, like needing to eat a lot of food, since he burns a lot of calories. One thing I don't like about modern Flash is that they gave him a tragic backstory. The Reverse Flash went back in time, killed Barry's mom, and his dad went to jail for her death. The original comics just had it that Barry worked as a forensic scientist, got struck by lightning, thrown into some chemicals, and became the Flash just because he wanted to help people. Why do modern comic book writers feel the need to overcomplicate origin stories? Number 7. Captain Underpants. As I've said in my reaction video to the movie trailer, what drew me to Captain Underpants was seeing this cover in the catalog. The big joke about superheroes is that they're fighting crime in their underwear, and Captain Underpants is literally doing just that. He's the creation of two friends named George and Harold, who one day hypnotized their principal, Mr. Krupp, into thinking he's Captain Underpants. Now they have to make sure he doesn't get killed while he's under the trance. It's an interesting concept. Comic books, especially ones from the Silver Age, often have insane stories, and the books take full advantage of that. They have a villain called Wedgie Woman, for crying out loud. What I always found interesting about Captain Underpants is that Mr. Krupp is never aware that he's Captain Underpants. Superheroes have secret identities, but Captain Underpants' identity is so secret, not even he knows what it is. Number 6. Darkwing Duck. There was no way I was leaving Darkwing Duck off this list. His show was one of my favorites growing up, and I still enjoy it to this day. Unlike most superheroes, Darkwing Duck has a huge ego. Similar to what South Park would do years later with the Coon, Darkwing Duck wants fame and riches for doing heroic things. Despite this, he does have his unselfish moments, like adopting Goslin and helping his annoying neighbor Herb clear his name. I always love the phrase, "I am the terror that flips in the night," followed by whatever Jim Cummins wants to say. Speaking of which, Jim Cummins has teased on his Twitter account that Darkwing Duck will appear in the new DuckTales show. Maybe once and for all they can solve the mystery of what does Drake Mallard do for a living? Number 5. The Thing. Ben Grimm sure got the short end of the stick when it comes to superpowers. Sue can turn invisible, Reed can stretch, and Johnny can turn into fire. Yet they can all go back to looking like normal people. Ben has to look like a pile of orange rocks 24/7. No wonder why he's a bit of a grouch. We've all felt like we've been dealt a bad hand in life, whether it's in our relationships, our careers, our bank accounts, or how we look. Yet we all try to find a way to live with it. And that's what makes the Thing so relatable. He hates the way he looks, but he tries to live with it. And that's what I always loved about him. I mean, who looks better than not being human looking? Okay, maybe she's an exception, but she still looks like a person. Number 4. Captain America. He punched Hitler. Need I say more? Number 3. Superman. I often hear people say Superman is unrelatable, and they usually point to two things to support this. 1. His superpowers, and 2. Nobody can recognize him as Clark Kent because of the glasses. I find the first reason strange, because we've all wished we had superpowers at one time in our lives, and Superman, or superheroes in general, are meant to be wish fulfillment. As for the second reason, Superman is seen as a god among men, while Clark is just a mild-mannered reporter. Plus, it's more realistic than the original Iron Man comics, where Iron Man is supposed to be Tony Stark's bodyguard. Yet nobody asks why Iron Man and Tony are never in the same place together at the same time. Isn't that what a bodyguard is supposed to do? Anyway, Superman has the best origin story of any superhero. It has often been described as Moses with aliens, and I can see why. I've always enjoyed Superman's optimism and his strong moral code. The world can be a cruel place, and to have someone as powerful as Superman willing to help the downtrodden is inspiring. Number 2. Batman. Unlike most superheroes, Batman doesn't have any powers. He had to train both his mind and body in order to become a superhero. This makes him a little more realistic. I say a little more because, let's be honest, rich guys don't dress up like bats to fight clowns. I always loved how smart Batman is. It always amazes me how he can solve, say, one of the Riddler's riddles. There's also something enjoyable about seeing him interrogate a bad guy. Batman has been both a campy superhero, like the Adam West Show, and a serious one, like, say, the Dark Knight trilogy. A lot of fans prefer the serious Batman over the campy one. I've always enjoyed both when they're done right. These days, it's a cliche to have a dead loved one as a motive for a superhero to become a superhero. Batman was the first to do this, and I think it works better than a lot of others I've seen. Flash! Excuse me. Number 1. Spider-Man. As a kid, I always found Spider-Man the most relatable of any of the superheroes, for the simple fact that he always struggled to find balance between his life as Peter Parker and his life as Spider-Man. Other superheroes did have their struggles balancing their lives, but none had it as bad as Spider-Man. You never saw Bruce Wayne worry about money or Clark Kent trying to do homework. Well, not often. Peter was a shy, awkward teen when he first got his powers. Like most people that age, he didn't use them wisely at first. Bruce was only a child when he saw his parents killed in front of him. As painful as that experience is, there was nothing he could do about it. Peter, on the other hand, has to live with the fact that he's partially responsible for Uncle Ben's death. Being Spider-Man often meant he had to miss a date, not be there for friends, ignore household chores, and late for class. My favorite moments have always been when he's swinging through the city thinking about his personal problems, and being a smart aleck towards the bad guys. His life may be a struggle, but he always tries to work out those struggles. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments section what are your favorite superheroes who didn't make the list. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.